What is array? It's a linear data structure used to store value in a continuous memory location. Clear? And few let's look at the type of the data structure. We have linear data structure, and then we have non-linear data structures, right? And linear data structure, we have few examples, right? Array, list and queue. Okay, right. So now let's look at the what does this linear data structure means and what does this continuous memory locations means. That means, let's say we created a array of 4 or let's say 3. You created an array and always array start from indexing of 0. Okay, this is your indexing and this is your element, could be anything, let's say 0. The indexing we write at the bottom 1, 2, 3. Initially I'll say this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Clear? So what is this? We created a array of size 4, a of 4 we can say, and we located the values and we filled each element at the particular index. At 0 index we put 3, and then at 4, at that 1 position we put 4, 5, so on and so forth. Clear? Now let's look at what does this linear data structure means. Linear data structure means you have to locate your next variable or next value here and then assign few things another. You have to go by next steps. Okay, this is the very linear data structure you have. Example of linear data structure. In the same way, queue also works, right? First in, first out, it will come just like you are standing at the line. First person will come and then second person, third person, fourth person. That is the example of queue you are getting served, right? First in, first out. Clear? You cannot serve like, okay, let's serve this variable first and then we will serve fourth and then fifth. It has to be go in a fashion order. That's why it's called linear data structure. Clear? We have few other example as well, like list, queue, and let's look at the non-linear data structure. In non-linear we have tree, graph, right? So this is tree have a what does this is how tree look like? How does tree look like? Let's draw one tree. This is how a tree look like. Yes? In programming, the tree looks exactly the opposite. That means, in programming way, it will look like this. Okay? Because, see, this is firstly object. Understood? This is how a tree look like in programming world. Might look funny, but when you will insert the value, like array you have understood, one after another you have to keep the value. I'll just give you an example. If you wanted to, there are multiple type of tree. Just like in a physical world, you have mango and different trees. We have few selected tree in programming world. Binary search tree, right? We have. That means you will get a value. This is, let's say you get one value and then you keep going down by down. You have one left value, right value, and then you get 5, and then again you get 2, and then you got 6, and then you divide the value, and then same way you keep going down by down. Understood? So how it's going? We have smaller value and then, so this looks like this, slightly looks like this. Understood? So this is how, because here it will not go one by one. You can access this value and you can directly put something here as well or access this element. So it's not linearly fashioned. You can access any element. This is just one example. Okay, that is we are going to learn in the next when we explore the non linear data structure. Is it clear? Okay. Definition clear? Right. Now, yes. Graph. Graph as well. Same. Graph also you needed to binaries. You can plot a graph. You can see graph. So graph you will also would be seeing few other example, like see, you get one this, you get one index, right? 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. You got this kind of index. In general paper, if you needed to plot the graph, you needed to take 1 1 1 1, right, to find something. If you suppose you needed to find, let's say, find all the let's say from 0 go and find all the even number till 11, then what you will do? You will plot a graph here. It would be sorry, take all the even number. Here you would go 1, then you go here, and then go here, and then go here. How you can plot the graph? So if I'll ask you to plot a graph, go here and then directly come here and then go here, then come here and then go here. Yeah, you need to plot a graph. So here we will learn multiple. This is how actually it will look like, but there are multiple algorithms you plot a graph, like shortest first algorithm, like shortest first, and Dijkstra algorithm is also there. There are multiple more algorithms which we use to find the graphs as well, which we will be learning in future. So in general, these are all the examples of non-linear data structure. That means value or key value pairs you can access anytime. You do not have to keep contiguous, right? Clear with it? Okay. Now let's take a few example when exactly you need to use the data structure, linear array data structure. Let's take one example. Yesterday, which question we have solved? We would be going to array question we have solved. Search. Search an element in an array, right? Open this link directly, or just search. You can directly open this link. .com/practice course arrays problem/search in array, right? Yes. This is the same link, or just don't go this much. Just Google search CodeChef array. Whatever is the first result, open this. It will lead you to one course where the first question you will find, it will redirect to here only. You can open. Okay? Everyone is able to find the question? What's the question says? Search an element in an array, right? Okay. So the question states, you search an element in an array. You are given an array A of n element x. Your task is to find whether array A contain the element x or not. Right? We have a input format. The first line of contains two space separated integer x n and x, the size of the array and each element to be searched. The second line contain element array A. Let me open it here, so you would have, right, it's already open. Okay, this link you can open. Everyone, let's take anything. JavaScript we will take. So yesterday how we are able to solve this? You are given an element in an array, you of size, and your task is to find whether the array contain the element x or not. Give 2 minutes to read the question. I think you already have understood the question. 5 is the n, right? X is the target, and given here A of I. Clear? 3 is present, simply print yes. Whatever the below test cases, if not present, print no. Right? I think most of you are able to solve it yesterday only. How we have solved this? Simple. We will try to solve this firstly with the without array. We will solve. Okay. Few things I think after this I'll explain. Let's take a look of the algo. Everyone clear with the questions? We just needed to find if our x is present in the array. If it's present, print yes, otherwise print no. All of you are mentally able to visualize the problem? Okay. What was the first line? How do we write take an input from the user? Not able to reset. Okay. How do we write the first line? Fs is equal require Fs. That's it. First line. Fs dot. Correct? UTF-8 -8. This also works? It will not work? This will work or not work? Okay. So UTF-8 also you can give, or UTF-8 also you can, based on the compiler it will support. Next, what we have? Trim. Then what we have? then that's it. At last we would put the semicolon. So our 2 lines is done. Okay. Side by side we will firstly write our algo as well. Firstly, take input of what is input of our initial boilerplate code, input of fs. Input boilerplate code means you needed to write it multiple times. That is, we have written first, second algo, what it is, take an input of n and x, take input of, this is exactly the same you are going to do for the flowchart actually. So this is going after flowchart, this you needed to write. So whoever doing the flowchart, take attention here as well. Take a input of n and x. Clear? Third is, because we have given a number of whatever number is n, x and a, we needed to write one loop. For loop start and then take value of a of I. Then what it is, if our target, if our value is present in an array, print yes, otherwise print no. Okay. If present, print yes, else no. But here is the catch, how we are able to find that if our value is present or not? What we need to create an additional variable. We will take one boolean. Okay, we will take anything, found x is equal, let's say initially we'll set to false. This will come and rest is if else statement. Clear? Now let's okay. So I needed to cut it. All of you have written this steps, 5 steps. You can write down the basics algorithm. So when throughout the code you would understand. You don't need to visualize it. Each and every line of implementation we do, write it down somewhere roughly. Okay, this is the pseudo code you understood. So next time visually you don't have to go, okay, what was the code? You just look at the algorithm, whatever you have written, accordingly syntax you would, after 1 time, 2 times, you would by default remember. Take input fs and then input, and then take input of n and x, and then use a for loop. Then fourth would be if present, print yes or no, and additionally you need to take one variable if found x false or something. Let's take a look. First line we have done. What was the second algorithm? What was the second steps for the algorithm? Okay. How do we iterate over an integer? We can take any random value. How do we initialize it? We initialize initially with the 0, right? And we need to take the and x, next step. Let's take it here only. Let n is equal, what it would? Number. Then what we have? Number of input of idx plus plus y plus plus. We are, because we needed to keep increasing our value of 0. Now suppose if we say you don't need to find the positive number, you only needed to find the negative numbers. Let's say I only needed to let's say I don't need to check the positive number, you just needed to check from minus any values to 0, then it will go minus and then you need to do the minus minus. So it is just increasing your 0 value to 1, 2, 3, 4 and simply incrementing, right? Clear? Again we will do the same for this one as well, because we need to keep increasing the number as well. Plus plus, correct? Square bracket would be here. And then we will have semicolon. What was the next? We have taken the n, we have taken the x. Okay, now let's say what was the, we need to find one, we need to iterate, we initialize both of the 5 and 3. Let's look at the sample. We have initialized n as well, x as well. Now we got this number 73521. We need to go inside a loop, right? For we will write let I is equal to 0, I is equal, okay, I is equal 0, I less than is equal and then semicolon. Everyone, semicolon would be there. Plus plus. We have plus plus and then curly bracket start. Now we will do let, what we will do? Now see, this value we got, this we got. How does input.idx's work? It takes one value, store in it, and it says I will not process the I will not process the entire input at once. I will take the first input, and what does it written? Trim.split. That means whatever value you got in a string, I will convert that into the number. That's why we have taken the number previously we have discussed, and that input I will pass it each time as a token. I will take 7 and then pass it to the token next. Okay, so just like previously also we have done, a of I we needed to take, let's say a I we have taken, okay, for the value to store. Again same number of same values, just input of idx plus plus, okay, semicolon. What's next? What's the fifth step? If what present? If our a of I is equal x, then then curly bracket, we have but before after this, if it's available, if this number will go till 10 to the power 5, it's a very big number, you don't need that number, you need to break this loop. So that's where you need to keep one additional variable, found is equal, let's say true. If you find your why true, if you find your value, you will set it to true, and then you need to declare this as well, you need to declare the found as well. Let found is equal false. Initially you set it as a false, and then later on you want to use, so right, this is done. Now as you come out of the loop, why you will come out of the loop? Because each element you are going to process one by one. Now if you will take, if your found is available, why you need to do not need to check if found is equal true, because by default if it's value you simply print yes, otherwise print no. What it would be? Yes, semicolon, I can copy this, select no, otherwise else, curly bracket, same console.log, it would be no. Clear? So try to run the solutions, and now to change this into an array, what we needed to do, that we will check here. JavaScript. Okay. Try to run the solution first. Understood now? Able to run the solution? Here the most important part is, let's take a look here. Are we using array anywhere? Do you see anything like this? Or we are using anywhere like a of I anywhere? Are you seeing it? Okay, this is just for the input, this is for the IDX, but to loop through it, to find the solution, this is just for take the number of input. Are we using it anywhere to take or iterate over the index? What was the main? Are we finding it for actual solutions? That means to iterate, what was the actual, are we trying to use the array to find the solutions? This was the actual code we are using to iterate over. Okay, what was the input? 7352. 3 is given. What we are doing, simply let a of I, what is your a of I? Means whatever it will go over loop 1, 2, 3, 4, and number of input we have started from 0 and simply increasing it. And if a of I, which means if your 3 is equal 3, then we have used one additional variable, found is equal false, then you are simply marking it as false and coming out of the loop. As soon as you found the 3, okay, I'll say I have one switch which I turned on, and then say okay, I'll break through the loop, and if my found is equal true, then by default your value of boolean would be true. If found is equal true, then print yes, otherwise print no, which is okay. Just one observation, why does less than I less than is equal n does not work? We have already taken one variable, right, and we started with the 0. That means your first value is already processed, you already got your first value. So if you do, either you do I is equal 1 or you do I is equal less than n, simple, because your first variable already known here. Okay, clear now? Able to run through the solution? Now let's understand, are we using array here to look? No, because we have used one extra variable, found is equal false, and then we are going over the loop and simply checking if our x is equal if our x is equal x, we are simply doing the comparison operator. If a is equal b, then we found. We are doing nothing here. Clear? Now let's see when actually you need to understand when we needed to use the array, right? Firstly, before using the array, you needed to understand when actually we should use it. Iterate over an array, or let's say, or look, sorting, merge. If specifically it has been asked to follow few kind of operations, that here what we can do, we can directly say if our array of I what is I? I means we have index, right? Index and elements. If our index, particular index of that value is equal x, then we also say found is equal true, otherwise no. So what we needed to change, what we needed to do to convert this solution to an array solution? Let's say what we additionally need, we needed to firstly create an array. And how do we create an array? So few rules of linear data structures. To use array, you also needed to declare it with the initial number. Let's say, hey, I wanted to use the 10 value of the array, then you would be also saying this is my 10 to the power 5, let's say 10 value I need at the initially. Then you have to say, okay, I need 10 values of the boxes, please use it for me. Then what it will do, let's say array of, this is how you write an array or ask it to declare. This is a syntax, variable name, square bracket starting, square bracket close, assignment, new, and then array, starting parenthesis, closing parenthesis. This is just needed to initialize the array, and then here would be amount of value you needed. What does each line means? This is the variable, you can put anything, array, your name, boxes. This is specifically needed for the arrays, to single D array. Clear? Assignment and new. Why new? Why we are using the new? Because you are asking to create an array. Let's say I have asked the computer to let's give me the 10 box. It will say, okay, I am creating the 10 box. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and until 10, and then I'll give you this box. So this is the new box you have. So that's why We have used the new and then array variable name. So if I'll write it here, the first line of change would be creating an array. When you needed to convert this program to array, first would be create an array of amount you need. Clear? First use case of the array is आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि आपको कितने साइज का array चाहिए, right? Second steps would be when you declare the array or when you say मुझे 10 बक्से दो, that means by default array will give you this. Initially it will say मैंने आपको डब्बे दे दिए, now this is empty. मैंने आपको खाली डब्बे दे दिए, now you put the variable inside of it. So first step is to take the array. Second step is to fill it with the value. Fill it with the value or variable. Clear? Third is to access or whatever operations you needed to do, you can do the operations. Clear? Clear everyone? Now let's take a look. These three rules remember. Now let's see how we can convert this into array solution. This one, this program, you can submit. You can submit multiple times different solutions as well. It's fine. Okay. What was the first step? First step?
Create an array.
Create array. Let's write it here first. Okay. Let array, keyword we would take, and then variable name, and then what we had, square bracket, and then assignment operator, and then what we have, new array of size we needed to give. Of what size we want? We want the size of n. Clear? Empty destructing, this is unnecessary, can be removed. The array literal annotation is preferably missing a semicolon. Okay. Let array of new array. What is missing here? Let's say we don't know right now. We will move to the next step. What was the next step? Array we created. Now what was the next step? It will give you the boxes of the array, so you needed to fill it with the variable. So fill it with variable. How we will fill with variable? You have number of, what was the first test case? 7352 73521. Okay. Now if this number can go into if this number has 10 to the power 5, then would you able to assign the each value one by one? If your number is very large, then how you will be assigning the values inside? You will simply use one for loop. Let's say if I'll simply run through one loop. If let I is equal 0, I will go through this number and then I plus plus. Now what I'll do, let's say array of I is equal same number of input. What would be the next? IDX plus plus. Okay, what does this line do? What is written here? Fill it with the variables, whatever variable you have. That means whatever the size of n it gives, it has already created your given whatever the size of n, it's already have given you this. Now you will process each index by index and say if my value is 7, pass it into the index 0 because my value start from 0. If my first value is 0, pass my first element of an array to index 0 and then increase it to 1 and then go again inside the loop and keep running the loop until my I become to less than is equal to less than number, which is even. This becomes 10,000, 2,000. Keep running and assigning my value, simply assigning my each index of the value till this loop runs. Clear everyone? Clear with the second line? First rule, creating a variable. Third, assigning the variable. What was the second? What was the third steps? What was the third? Access or do certain operation you need it. Do any operation you need it. So let's take a check if found is equal. So let's zoom in here. Very important line. 24. What we were doing at the line number 24? We created one value and keep checking over those. हम उससे directly compare कर रहे हैं. But this manual assignment now we will remove with what? Let's say now we will say we won't be taking extra variable. जो भी हमारा array है, which is array of I, we simply say if whatever the value of my array of I is equal x, found true, otherwise no. Clear with both the differences? Now this solution is using the array because we have follow few rules. What was the few rules? Firstly, we have created the array. Second, we filled the array with the values. Third, we have follow the operation which we needed to do. Right? क्या सबको यहाँ पे समझ आया कि ये दो वैल्यू थे? फर्स्ट वैल्यू क्या है मुझे क्वेश्चन में देख के बताओ अभी. 5 3 7 3 5 1 2 1. ये 5 क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? सबको समझ आया? 5 क्यों लिखा है यहाँ पे? ये इसका साइज है इस टेस्ट केस का 1. लेट मी राइट इनटू डिफरेंट. ये 5 ये बता रहा है कि इस नंबर का साइज क्या होगा. 1 2 3 4 5. क्लियर? सबको क्लियर हुआ? ये 3 क्या है? इसका वैल्यू क्या दिया हुआ है? इसको बोला है हमने x। 5 को क्या बोला है? 5 को n बोला है। सिंपल रिप्रेजेंटेशन है। मेरा कुछ नाम है, आपका कुछ नाम है, क्लियर? सेम वैल्यू को हम रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं x एंड n समथिंग, क्लियर है? नाउ व्हाट इज 3? इफ योर वैल्यू इज प्रेजेंट इन दिस नंबर, आपको सिंपल हाँ बोलना है या ना बोलना है, क्लियर? अब क्या ये नंबर इसमें प्रेजेंट है? 3 इसमें है ऑलरेडी, दैट इज द क्वेश्चन you needed to.
I think the topic is hard for them to understand.
That's why I'm breaking down into very simple thing. First step, let's go back to the वापस go back to the question. Flow chart, you're into the programming. End goal of your is to become a developer, and to become a developer you should not know how to write the code. You should be a problem solver by default. I'll give you the code, entire thing, you sit for a week, you know how to write a code. I have seen a developer who can understand or remember the code. Even if I give you 500 CodeChef questions or 500 selected questions for the interview, you remember them, memorize them, you go, you will clear the most of the interviews. But that will not make you a problem solver. You should, in morning exercise, what we do? We do the exercise. This class is for the brain exercise. This will be boring, but you have to do it to train your brain to think like a programmer. Otherwise, you would see a problem. Most of your will stuck at one question. I get the question, but code नहीं समझ आ रहा है. That is why, because आप code करने की कोशिश ही नहीं कर रहे हो. It doesn't matter you're into induction, you're into. You have to train yourself to do this kind of. This is the dirty work. This is the hard problem to solve. This is the hard skill to get, but you have to do it. ठीक है? Let's get back to the topic. Have we understood the question? Okay. Now, flowchart. Who are at the flowchart? Raise your hands. Flowchart 1, 2, 3. Rest are not at the flowchart. Okay. Okay. Nested loops. Okay, I will explain this in the flowchart, but you don't need to understand. Forget about the circular, parallel or something. Flowchart wise, flowchart in a simpler way, I am writing this only, algo. I am writing the algo only. What is the first steps of the flowchart? First, start. Then what we have? Input. Okay. Then output, and then end. Start. Second, take input. What is the input we have in the questions? In questions it says take 2 inputs. One is, second is x. Okay. Third, there is another third value. Another is third which is not given. 5, 3 and then उसके नीचे जो पूरा array आ रहा है वो भी एक value है, वो भी आपको लेना है. Take array और input value, or I will call it A of I. Why it A of I? Array of index, right? Fourth would be, what would be the fourth? We have started the program, we have taken the x and y, we have taken the input of A of I, Now the program says our input can go till 10 to the power 5. That means आप एक एक वैल्यू को इटरेट नहीं कर सकते. आप यहाँ पे 10 लोगों को खड़े करो और बोलो कि अपने हाइट के हिसाब से रीशफलिंग करो. आप सबको क्या करोगे, एक एक करके शफल नहीं कर सकते. सो यू वुड सिंपली, आप उसके लिए एक स्टैंडर्ड प्रोसेस बनाओगे. सबसे छोटा जो है वो आगे जाओ, उसके बाद फिर आगे वाला आओ, फिर आगे वाला आओ, आगे वाला, उसके हिसाब से आप खुद ही शॉर्ट कर लो. राइट? तो आप एक लूप चलाओगे वहाँ पे. ठीक है? लूप में लेट क्या है? लेट इज द कीवर्ड इन जावास्क्रिप्ट. फॉर नाउ जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड इट्स अ जावास्क्रिप्ट कीवर्ड. आई क्या है? आई हमारा एक वेरिएबल है जो हम उसको असाइन करते हैं. जिस तरीके से आप नाम असाइन करते हो, आई एक वेरिएबल है. 0 से शुरू कर रहे हैं. क्यों 0 से शुरू कर रहे हैं? मिनिमम वैल्यू ऑफ नंबर इज 0. नेगेटिव में भी ले सकते हैं, बट यहाँ पे हमारी वैल्यू जो है वो 0 पे नहीं जा रही है. वहाँ पे कंस्ट्रेंट पे लिखा हुआ है साफ साफ, n इज लेस देन 1 एंड ग्रेटर देन इज इक्वल 10 टू द पावर 5. मतलब आपका इनपुट जो है 0 और 1 या फिर ग्रेटर देन 10 टू द पावर 5 होगा. क्लियर? एंड दिस इज द सिंटैक्स. सेमीकोलन, एक आपका एक स्टेटमेंट रन हुआ, देन यू नीड टू राइट दिस सिंटैक्स. फिर सेकंड क्या होगा? आई शुड बी लेस देन n. ये क्यों लिखा है हमने? लूप हम तब तक ही चलाएंगे जब तक हमारा नंबर है. लेट्स से 10 टू द पावर 5 है. दैट मीन्स 1 2 3 4 5 इतना तक जाएगा हमारा लूप. तो यू डोंट हैव टू कैलकुलेट, कीप कैलकुलेटिंग. आप सिंपली यहाँ पे नंबर डाल दोगे एंड आई प्लस प्लस करते रहोगे. आपका ये वैल्यू एक को इंक्रीमेंट करते रहेगा. राइट? लेट्स टेक द फिफ्थ स्टेप. टेक, जो हमने फिफ्थ एरे ले लिया है, ठीक है, इफ, ओके, इफ माई एरे, ठीक है, इफ माई एरे, लेट्स से जो मेरा वैल्यू है ए ऑफ आई, लेट्स से अगर यहाँ पे 3 है, इफ इट 3 इज इक्वल एक्स, देन प्रिंट yes, एल्स प्रिंट नो. क्लियर है? यहाँ पे ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, बट यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम क्या होगा? अगर ऐसे करेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम क्या होगा? सी, मोस्ट ऑफ यू हैव गॉट द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ, हमने फॉर लूप चलाया, कुछ अंदर लिखा x इज इक्वल ए, तो हमने प्रिंट कर दिया yes, अदरवाइज प्रिंट कर दिया नो. यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम क्या होगा? अभी ये लूप से गया ही नहीं. ठीक है, ये इफ फोर वाले लूप से बाहर ही नहीं निकला. तो क्या होगा? अगर जितने भी वैल्यूज़ है, लगा सपोज यहाँ पे 4 वैल्यूज़ है, 5 वैल्यूज़ है, बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट सबके लिए यस 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 नो 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 एक साथ प्रिंट कर देगा. इसलिए आपको इस लूप से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा पहले. सो यू विल राइट फोर स्टेटमेंट हियर एंड देन इफ x इज इक्वल a, देन यू हैव टेक अनदर वैल्यू ऑफ let found is equal false. और यहाँ पे जैसे ही आपको वैल्यू मिल गया, found is equal true कर दिया आपने, और आप फिर अलग से एक और if else लिखोगे. क्यों लिखोगे? आप लूप के बाद निकल गए. अब देखो यहाँ पे the problem is you will write only below if found देन प्रिंट yes, अदरवाइज प्रिंट. और उसको आपको सिक्वेंशियली ही लिखना पड़ेगा. आप उसको ऊपर नीचे नहीं लिख सकते, बिकॉज प्रोग्राम ऑलवेज एग्जीक्यूट फ्रॉम टॉप टू डाउन. ठीक है? इफ यू थिंक यू विल राइट इफ एट द टॉप एंड देन रेस्ट ऑफ द स्टेटमेंट एट बॉटम, दिस विल नॉट वर्क. ऑलवेज एनी प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूट फ्रॉम टॉप टू बॉटम. ठीक है? क्लियर विद दिस प्रॉब्लम? क्लियर विद द एल्गोरिथम? नाउ these two I think most of you are able to understood. Let's look at the code part. How many lines of code? Firstly, fs we needed to take, input we needed to take, input of this would be const, third input of x, and fourth for loop start. Here found boolean we need to take. If find Yeah, let found here, let found is equal false, simply done. Now this was the array we have done, this was the without the array. Now if we try, I think I have already given you what you needed to do it with the array is, आप फर्स्टली array को क्रिएट करोगे, क्रिएट कर दिया तो जो भी साइज का आपने एरे बनाया है 10 20 और मे बी 10,000 समथिंग, इट स्टार्टेड विद द वैल्यू ऑफ 0, तो वहाँ पे आपकी वैल्यू नहीं है, उस पर आपको वैल्यूज डालना पड़ेगा. यू फील्ड इनिशियली विद द वैल्यूज एंड देन फिर आप उस पर चेक करोगे. चेक करने के भी कंडीशंस है, अगर आपका इनपुट बहुत कम है 5 4 3 2 1 तो आप खुद से मैनुअली भी लिख सकते हो. अदरवाइज अगर आपका इनपुट बहुत बड़ा है आप सबका मैनुअली कंपैरिजन नहीं कर सकते. दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव रिटन अनदर फॉर लूप फॉर इट. ठीक है, एक और लूप हमने लिखा है, वहाँ पे हमने हर एक ए ऑफ आई के वैल्यू को उसमें असाइन किया. लेट्स से माई इंडेक्स इज 0, वहाँ पे जो भी वैल्यू है इंडेक्स प्लस एलिमेंट जो भी मेरे 0 इंडेक्स पे उस पर मैंने असाइन कर दिया. नाल कीप इंक्रीमेंटिंग जब तक मेरा इंडेक्स नहीं आएगा. सेकेंड लूप वापस मैंने चलाया है, अगर मेरे ए ऑफ आई में जो भी इंडेक्स है इज इक्वल एक्स जो कि मेरा टारगेट है, तो प्रिंट फाउंड बुलियन इज इक्वल ट्रू कर दिया मैंने वहाँ पे, एंड प्रिंट यस अदरवाइज प्रिंट नो. क्लियर विद द सोल्यूशन? नाउ व्हाट इज द इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग वी फॉलो? फर्स्टली take the constraint, as this question it will not mention anywhere in the question that okay let's solve this with the array, or many time in the question it is written that hey you have given an array, let's solve this. But if you look at the input size 10 to the power, let's say 10 to the power 50, 10 to the power 5 is written, you have to by default understand okay this is the integer value, integer go from 10 to the power minus 29 to this and long go from this value. Clear? So this can be done with an array and generally value checking, direct checking as well. So what was the 3 rule we needed to do for the array? If you needed to use the array, what would be the 3 rule you would be using? Declare the array with the size required, fill it with the value variable, and third operation whatever you needed to do. Clear?